Welcome to Resume the Podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Page, and I'm here to spread the message that you can, in fact, be happy in your career. I'm a former executive recruiter turned career coach, and I am obsessed with learning about why people have chosen their career, what led them to that decision, and how they achieved happiness in the process. So, come join the ongoing conversation that exposes you to career paths of all origins with one thing in common: happiness. So, press play and let's resume the conversation with this week's episode. Welcome to Resume's pre-interview checklist. You know that feeling when you're driving away from your house and you kind of know that you forgot something, but you don't know what, and you're like, no, I think I have everything. Then you get to wherever you're going and you realize, oh, I cannot believe I forgot that. Okay, we've all been there, but we don't want that to happen on our way to an interview, or when we get to an interview, we don't want to realize that we forgot something super important. So maybe it's the night before, or maybe it's the morning of your interview. First of all, go you. You've got this. But before you go rock your interview, a couple of things. Let's go over the essentials, the essential items that you absolutely cannot forget. Number one, your phone, obviously. Number two, phone charger. Don't want to be caught with a dead phone and all of a sudden you have no access to call people if you get lost, no directions, So bring the phone charger. A laptop or tablet, whatever one you use, and its charger. So laptop charger, or tablet and tablet charger. Your wallet with your ID and credit card. Again, your wallet with your ID and credit card. A lot of buildings will have someone check you in down at the entry level, and they'll ask for your ID for access. So don't forget that. You don't want to be turned away literally at the door because you forgot something super simple like your ID. Credit card is always great to have. You never know if you need it for parking or whatnot. So ID and credit card, absolutely cannot forget those. Number 7 is 5 copies of your resume and cover letter. Staple the resume and cover letter together. So you should have 5 sets of a resume with a cover letter. Yes, it is absolutely overkill, but it's always great to have. And you never know how many people will actually be interviewing you. I once had 3 people interview me when I thought it would only be 1. They each needed a resume. Their HR person was present and they needed one. And I like to have one for myself. So luckily I had 5. Number 8 is make sure that they are in a folder that will not get crushed and crumpled. It's awesome if you have the 5 resumes and cover letters, but it's not great if they're all like crumpled and wrinkled and look like you just threw them in your tote bag or your briefcase or whatever bag you use. And you don't want to hand an executive or a hiring manager a resume that doesn't look professional. That's not going to bode well for you. Number 9, a notebook and a pen. Make sure the notebook is professional and clean looking with, no Post-its sticking out or, glitter on it. Please no glitter. Unless it's for like a preschool teaching position, then totally go for the glitter. Go for it. But if it's not for that, no glitter. Please make sure it's professional and clean looking. Okay, great. So now let's go over your presentation. I like to tell people that you're getting ready, or at least imagine that you're getting ready to meet your favorite president. I don't care who that is. Just imagine that that's the level of presentation you should be getting ready to put out into the world. So how would you prepare that outfit? What are you wearing? Does it need to be ironed or steamed? Also, if you have a pet, keep your interview outfit away from your fuzzy friends and bring a lint roller with you. Bring an extra outfit, or at least a shirt to leave in your car, or one that you can keep in your bag without it taking up too much space, or something that won't wrinkle easily. You just never know when your coffee will like jump out of its cup onto that crisp white Oxford. And let me tell you, it is usually on interview days. So always bring some kind of extra clothing item that you can easily change into if you need to. If you're wearing flats to drive in, don't forget your heels. I suggest putting those babies in the car the night before. Also, hair care. So again, imagine you're preparing to meet your favorite president. How would you prepare your hair? Men, facial hair should be nice and kempt. You can have a beard, you can have no beard, whatever, so long as it is the most professional version of your facial hair. That's great. Ladies, your hair is gorgeous, but unless you are applying for a salon job, don't let it be a distraction. Up or down, just make sure that it is clean and it's not in your face. And again, make sure it's just not the center of the show. If you happen to get distracted with your hair down, like you can't help but keep running your hand through it, or you just worry a lot if it looks good, I would suggest pulling it back in a neat bun or a sleek low pony. Non-binary people, you do you, however you feel the most professional, go with that. Okay, moving on to the practical things that we all need to have in order to make it to the interview. Number 1, have the address and the suite number. Number 2, know the name of the person that you're meeting with. You can look through your emails to find that. And if you aren't sure, please confirm it before you go. Number 3, have a phone number ready in case you need it. You never know. It's always good to have. You don't want to be scrummaging on the side of the road when you're lost or something. And hopefully you won't be late. But in the worst case scenario, if you are, you will need to have a phone number ready in case you need it. Number 4, know the parking situation and have some cash in case it's valet. If you're in New York, and you're driving, know the parking situation. You're probably not if you're in New York, it's probably in an Uber or a cab, but anywhere downtown in a city, usually the parking situation can be a little hairy. So just make sure that you're aware of it. And if you're driving, maybe look on Google Maps beforehand to know where the closest parking garage is or parking lot is. Number 5, get gas the day before. If you're listening to this morning of and you realize, oh my God, I don't have gas, please factor that into your time, into the commute time. Number 6, check traffic on your phone, factor in rush hour, and factor in local roads with lots of lights versus the highway. Those lights, I'm telling you, they can be time suckers, and you do not want traffic lights to be the deciding factor in whether or not you get a job. That's just silly. Don't let that happen. So check traffic on your phone. Keep checking it as you're getting ready in the morning. Just keep an eye on it. Which brings me to number 7. Give yourself ample buffer time, especially if you've never been there before. Which brings me to my next point, number 8. If you have time, do the commute before the day of your interview so you know exactly where you're going. If you don't have a chance to do that, that's totally fine. It just really helps with nerves to actually do the commute. You'll know exactly how much time it takes. You'll know exactly where you're going. It won't be all new the day of. Number 9, I suggest getting to the interview place wherever that is early and either waiting in your car or waiting at a nearby cafe and preparing. Number 10, head up about 15 minutes before your interview time. And that should give you enough time to get into the elevator, figure out exactly where you're going. Even if you get lost in a hallway that you're not sure exactly where it leads, you'll have enough time to get into the actual waiting area, wherever that is, with about 10 minutes time. You don't want to get there too early because that's kind of A, boring for you, and B, then you're just kind of hanging out there for like 20 or 30 minutes. It's kind of awkward. So I suggest like 15 to 10 minutes early, just enough time to make sure that you get there with some cushion and that you're not waiting there for, an awkwardly long amount of time. Number 11, and lastly, remember, chin up, shoulders back. You are there for a reason, and they want you to be the one that they hire. Hiring is a really lengthy and stressful and expensive process, and you are making their decision easy by being prepared, on time, confident, and competent. Go you got this. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I'm so grateful for your precious time and energy. And if anything resonated with you, please feel free to share with a friend and subscribe. If you're interested in career coaching, I would love to hear from you. Email me at courtney@resume-careers.com and follow me on Instagram at Courtney Austin Page. Thank you so much and see you next week.